வணக்கம் நண்பர்களே, இது உங்கள் V.Palanichamy. நம்ம UPSC சிவில் சர்வீஸ் இன்டர்வியூ ஒரிஜினல் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் பார்த்துட்ருக்கோம். அதில் கரண்ட் ஈவெண்ட்ஸை பார்க்குறோம். இது 2வது பார்ட்டு பார்க்கலாம். ஒன் நேஷன் ஒன் எலெக்ஷன். நம்ம அந்த PSRலேயும் பார்த்தோம், இதுலேயும் பார்த்தோம். சில இது எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்லேயும் மாறி மாறி வரும், பட் இட்ஸ் ஓகே. தென் Padmavat controversy, it's a 5-year-old issue, violation of freedom of expression. Is CBFC at fault? Which Indian scientist who won Nobel on such a measuring philosophy? Lithium prices dropped suddenly. Why Indian steps? I said South America, and they affirmed it's at Argentina. Why universities across the world are seeing rebellious attitude in its students? Are you aware that kinds of happening in Harvard and Oxford University? What do you think about freedom of press in India? On one hand, ranked in low press freedom index, and on another hand, we see our news channels and the people are saying anything about anyone. Anything about anyone. Earlier, we used to see news anchors presenting news calmly based on fact. Today, we see anchors shouting, creating sensationalism. What went wrong? So, what to control it? But government starts controlling it, then people will say government is putting restriction on free media. What is your take? It's a quite very good question. Very good question. Does government have enough presence on social media? Are government initiatives enough? What are social media platforms in which government lacks presence? Why Saudi is not a member? I don't know. Paytm ban reason. Is it good that we are sending workers in Israel or to Israel? Places of Worship Act 1991. Who is the chairman of Nalanda University, and he recently got a new job in his hand. People like you work for years for this exam. Why young people don't go for politics? And people in general, politics also governance. What are the issues? Why people ask for CBI investigation in the case? There is a CID in the state police. CBI too. IPS cadre is there. How it functioning different from the state police? How it's different from state police? Difference in TADA, UAPA, PMLA. Why stringent provisions of bail in PMLA? The recent parliamentary session, which bills have been introduced, and name the 3 bills and elaborate some provisions in the Telecom Bill. Can you give some detail on Action Provision Act Telecom Bill, and why Pannu was in news? Why Pannu was in news? Right. Why Khalistan demand came in picture? Can you give some detailed operation about Operation Blue Star and Operation Thunderbird? Do you know about Red Corridor? Why Naxalism emerged? Boeing aircraft deal. Why is it so special in the news? Cyber patrolling. What are the takeaways in Gaza war? Why India is so much concerned about Red Sea crisis? Which is an unicorn, and why? What is unicorn? What is decacorn? Either 1 billion, either 10 billion. Okay. What are the unicorns in India? Recently, unicorns are facing crisis. What are the reasons? And what things that startup can learn from them? Give me a name of youngest climate activist and questions related to that. Questions on Press and Periodicals Bill and Telecommunication Bill. Reasons for downfall in Indo-Indian-Maldives relations in recent times. Why we are providing aid to Maldives despite their inclination towards China. Discussion on China's hydrographical survey near Maldives. What is Masala Bond? Compare Kautilya and Machiavelli, and which one is the more realistic approach? Again, P2 interlinking. Tell me about the cryptocurrency pros and cons. Tell me RBI stand. What is blockchain technology? What is the difference between carbon capture and carbon sequestration? Are there any efforts in carbon trading in India? Tell me why global financial crisis 2008 happened. How global growth going? Union territories, CMSS LG issue, do you think that legal or political? Why power over civil services in UT Delhi and Puducherry? Why is it in India is getting so much FDI nowadays? What is the particular reason behind it? Recently, many foreign investors were also pulling out money due to some developments in USA. What was the reason? States are competing each other on one or other way in global summits like Vibrant Gujarat Summit. Don't you think this competition is bad for the country? In which project Japan has given low interest in long term to Gujarat? Why Japan affords to give such a low interest? Which parts of Gujarat has border with Pakistan? Sir Creek issue and stands on India Pakistan. Now this issue already I told this we have taken it in the PSAR also, Political Science International Relations also. It's there. Further, what are the limitations of National Education Policy 2020? USA has been interfering in different scenario like attacking on Iran and its stand on Israel. What is the reason for it? US actions on attack on India human rights USTR report, despite having good relations economically, but could be the reason for it. What could be the reason for it? Why it can be or what can be done for it? India has increased its oil import from Russia after the Ukraine war, which has attracted criticism that India is funding war. What is your take on it? INS Imphal, what is it and why it was in news? You know Bumrah, what was the news? What was the news about him? 3 criminal justice laws and who jubilated, who protested it? Chicken neck corridor and its importance. What's happening in Myanmar? What's happening in Myanmar? Tell me about the missiles. How missiles are used. So how space programs help us. What is old pension scheme and new pension scheme? What's wrong with the new pension scheme? Monologue about coaching industry, quota suicide, asked about opinion about coaching industry and relation and discussion, and recent coaching guidelines. So these are common and so this will come again and again. Then further, reservation policy and subcategorization of SC. Best character in history. Why was Enforcement Directorate was in news recently? Outcomes of 12th WTO Ministerial Conference, how the dispute resolution body WTO works. Have you heard about Transparency International? It publishes corruption index annually. What is the India's rank? Have you visited the place where he died fighting against British? I don't know, enna question theriyala. So there are also stone carving about site and injuries. So are you aware of the very famous running in ancient Greece? What is your opinion about Vedanta reputation reasons for being in news headlines? And what is Me Too movement? Is it necessary? Me Too movement and is it necessary? And further, what are the new things happened during the Raghuram Rajan tenure and how you evaluate his working? What is Quad and countries in the Quad? Why did they form another grouping if they could have engaged bilaterally? What was the need for a special platform? What were the significant breakthrough in G20 and was anything regarding environment and renewable energy? Environment and renewable energy. What is the current issues in WTO? Tell me 4 to 5 important points. India contesting WTO, subsidy issue, percentage subsidy and percentage and what? What are the 2 organizations currently fighting in the Middle East? Hamas and Hezbollah. Which countries they are supporting them? Opinion about Gaza situation. Okay, tell me about the today's news about solar rooftop program. Why is it free electricity scheme? Analyze the scheme, tell me its positive and negatives. Okay, can you identify any challenge? What is I2U2? What are the focus area? Do you think that events on 7th October, the grouping has jeopardized? So this is also current affairs and political science also we have taken it. And further, what country said it will send troops to Ukraine? Which countries opposed? What was Russia's response? Consequences of such war. Should we have a bilateral series with Pakistan? Should we be separate sports from foreign policy. What is happening in Rakhine? It's in Myanmar. What's the connectivity issues to Rakhine? What is, Quad and countries, same thing. It's like, these questions repeated, I think similar member, and then asked with a different candidate. And finally, 4 Shaktis of Gaganyaan. Was it news today? That was a news that day. Smart cities mission. What is it? How many cities, and then what is the success percentage in home district? I think is from Indur. And importance of Taiwan for India. Padma Award to Taiwan national importance. We focused Manipur when the video came out, and then it's about what Northeast why. Some discussion Siliguri corridor and Chinese threat. What is about that China and Myanmar to India? West spends a lot on defense and military, whereas countries like Japan and Singapore do not spend. And why? Tell me about BIMSTEC. How does G20 and organization influence global governance? I mentioned about declarations allow nations to rule a common foundation. Right? Okay. So does G20 bring out rules and declaration? Is it declaration which facilitate rules? Tell me 4 outcomes of the G20. Could be, remember 3? Okay. And was IMEC main outcome of the finalization silence? It was not so sure. So current affairs பார்த்தோம்னா நம்ம நிறைய எடுக்கலாம். என்னென்னா கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸில் எல்லா சப்ஜெக்டில் வரதும் கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ் மாதிரி இருக்கும், சப்ஜெக்ட் மாதிரி இருக்கும். பட் வி ஹவ் புட் இன் தோஸ் குரூப்பிங்ஸ் ஆல்சோ. ஸோ இன்னும் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக உள்ள சப்ஜெக்ட் நிறைய சப்ஜெக்ட் நம்ம பண்ணல. எக்கனாமியில் இன்னும் 1-2 வீடியோ வரும். அண்ட் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் நம்ம எதுவும் செய்யலை. வில் மேக் ஒன் வீடியோ ஆன் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் கொஸ்டின்ஸ், அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் பேஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ், ஆர் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் அண்ட் அனிமல் ஹஸ்பண்ட்ரி யூ கேன் கீப் இட். அண்ட் அகெயின் இட்ஸ் ஹெல்த் இஷ்யூஸ், தெர் ஆர் சம் சப்ஜெக்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் ஆர் தேர். So before this interview starts, we will ready to put at least 1 or 2 videos daily basis. So thank you very much. Thank you very much on and all.
வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, பெல் ஐக்கன் பிரஸ் பண்ண மறந்து போயிடாதீங்க. அப்பதான் நாங்க போஸ்ட் பண்ற வீடியோவோட நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் உங்களுக்கு வரும்.